So today, we're playing the Reaper, and we got some awesome hammer dagger in action with the skill Enchanted Weapons, which have a 20% chance to repeat our on-hit effects again, making this hammer dagger build even more fun. But hey, check this run out, and let me know what you think of it. Okay, let's go jump some rank games with a random character and see what we're going to get today. So it looks like we're playing a Reaper, and we do start off with Ammets of Steel. So we kind of want to go for Stone Golem type build, potentially just a bunch of stone skill potions. So we want to start off with grabbing freaking stones. We really want to craft up a shovel here as well. Shovel is going to be really awesome because it can dig up some extra stones. We can also go for a steel gourd as well. But I do want to grab this big old banana right now as well. The problem with the relic case and the storage, it's extremely difficult to freaking put a banana beside our frying pan. Never mind, I'm just dumb. This is the best position that we could do, and it's perfect. Now, do we want to grab ourselves this whetstone? It is on sale for 2. We could go for hero sword. We could craft up steel gourds. You know what? Let's take it for now. And I'm just going to venture on with this. We could have actually placed it in for a little bit more damage. Maybe that was better. It probably was actually. Over the Star of Courage because the fight isn't going to last for too long. The Star of Courage does reduce our stamina cost on our weapons just a little bit more, so you don't out of stamina proc. But hey, not too bad taking on a hammer dagger type build. We're going to get a shovel. We're going to grab this bit of storage. Let's grab the garlic. Let's roll once. And crazy insane, we're grabbing ourselves a wooden sword on sale. We got a really did I say really lucky. And we're also going to have our steel target basically our garlic, but it's going to have to trigger like 14 times potentially to actually give us 1 in power, so it's not going to be that great for right now. I'm also tempted to grab this shiny shell, place it in over a Star of Courage, and I'm going to move on. Now that is going to be eating up a lot of stamina by taking that out, but with a banana in, the shiny shell is also going to keep us alive. Actually, shiny shell is a little bit pointless since you do have Ammets of Steel. Yeah, because it does proc when we're full HP. So the Star of Courage was actually a bit better here. But hey, if opponent does burst us down pretty fast, that shiny shell is not too bad. Now, if we're going for a Stone Golem type build, we want to grab as much healing herbs as possible. So let's grab it. Let's grab our storage. And we could try to go for doubled hero swords to try craft up with our steel gourds. If we actually want to, I'm not going to though. Just going to keep moving on, save our 1 golds. Try to get some awesomeness. And if we do get an early turn up, we could go for some Thorn Blooms with a steel gourd action with Ammets of Steel. But hey, can we take on this big old berserker, rocking the turnip and a hero sword with the shields? It's looking pretty good for us, that's for sure. And the longer the fight goes on, the better, because we're scaling up our damage, but closer opponent with the spikes, but not too bad. I was kind of hoping for Smelly Wall here. Smelly Wall would go insane for us. We can grab Shielded. Shielded with Ammets of Steel is really awesome, or we can take Enchanted Weapons. It's been a long time since I take Enchanted Weapons, which I'm thinking strongly about going for. You know what, let's take it today. Let's grab our stone. We could go for Falcon Blade instead. We can go Enchanted Weapons, Hammer Dagger type builds with a Stone Golem. Maybe we actually want to do that instead. You know what, we're going to sell our shovel here. We're going to grab our hammer. Let's grab our piggy bank. I'm going to roll. And I actually want to grab this just in case it's going to be another freaking Ammets of Steel. I'm going to sell 1 of these to grab it. With an Ammets of Darkness, which is actually still pretty decent here. But yeah, I actually really want to grab this leather bag. And I'm going to sell a shiny shield so we can grab ourselves another garlic as well. And, you know, I'm going to venture on with this. We're going to crack open our piggy bank, get a ton of monies. We are going to be running through stamina like there's no tomorrow, with a hero sword, with our hammer as well. But the longer the fight goes on, the less stamina this hammer is going to be using up. Can we deal with this pyromancer? Rocking the Thornburst with a Hunger Blade. So we're going to get lots of vampirism, lots of heals. They're going to be stunning us as well. We're also stunned them. But unfortunately for us, it's not looking too great whatsoever. The opponent just had way too much healing for us. Unfortunately, we do end up falling short. Now, let's sell our coins. Let's grab our storage. Let's grab an armor, actually, and let's roll. I'm actually going to keep rolling because I do want to try and find ourselves a dagger here. We also got Goobert, which I do want to grab as well. Which we're going to have to sell 3 garlics, which feels bad. But I do want to craft up that steel Goobert pretty much straight away. But yeah, I'm going to be moving on with this for now. With Goobert, we should get a ton more survivability. With our leather armor, we should get some more power. And we should be able to get a ton of weapon damage soon enough, because I do want to craft up a vampiric armor. Steel Goobert is going to stack up our block as well. And we'll see how we get on. Once we start grabbing some daggers, we should potentially be in an awesome spot as well. But this bond is dealing some big damage to us. With Down to Darkness. And that Shell Totem is keeping him alive here. And holy moly, did a hammer just come in super clutch there right at the end. Which is kind of insane. Now speaking of insane, that is a freaking leather armor on sale, which I don't think we can afford to grab. So I'm just going to grab a particular purse as we roll. Grab our first dagger, which is amazing. Roll again. We need to grab the stone as well. But I also really need this fanny bag. Let's grab our stones. We probably want to grab our bag of stones as well. But yeah, unfortunately, we do need to move on. So I did move our setup around to be more like this. With our Enchanted Weapons targeting our hammer. With our hammer getting some scaling damage from our Steel Goblet while still activating it. And I think this should be pretty good. We should be able to get a ton of empower potentially, hopefully. Mix between our leather armor with Steel Goblet. We do start off with 90 block, which is pretty darn awesome. And once our Goblet starts activating, we should be scaling up our damage on our hammer, as well as giving us our empower. But we'll see. Because right now, it still hasn't given us one empower, which is not so great. We do have one more activation on a Steel Goblet before the fight actually ends, maybe two actually. But we managed to get that second empower. But is it going to be enough here? Because our opponent is dealing some big damage with the axe and the spear. And holy moly, we just barely survived. Which was kind of nuts. You're speaking of nuts. Come on, Army Steel. Okay, second Arm to Darkness. He's also kind of nuts. But we're going to need the storage. We're going to have to grab both of these freaking fanny packs. And I'm going to prioritize speeding up the banana along with our Enchanted Weapons. But it doesn't mean we can't grab our bag stones just yet, unfortunately. So we're going to move on pretty darn quick. We're going to have our Amethyst of Darkness being in this position, targeting specifically our hammer and our dagger as well. So when our hammer does activate, it does have a 30% chance to deal 7 damage and another 30% chance to deal 7 damage. So if they both proc at the same time, it's going to be some nuts, straight up damage. But our opponent still hasn't really broke through our armor, and we're actually dealing some big damage to him, although Shelly does come alive, healing him back up, but they still have to break through our armor. Which, honestly, this fight wasn't even close. Now the thing is, we do have Choice Mag. And I'm probably going to go Curse Dagger here. It's going to be another dagger. I think it's going to be worth grabbing. Especially with Enchanted Weapons. I think we have to take it. Now, speaking of awesomeness. Another dagger. Let's grab our bag of stones. Let's roll again. And that's even more awesomeness. And awesomeness. Holy moly, this shop was crazy. Quite literally. I do have to grab the storage though, unfortunately. So I did change stuff around just a little bit. So we have our Curse Dagger here. Now it's not going to give a crit chance to this one, but it should be a nice activator for Steel Goblet to scale up the damage on these daggers for now as well. I definitely want to grab a Presence Flask. I definitely want to grab this to craft up a freaking Vampire Armor. But Arm Steel is going to sit down here for now. Enchanted Weapons is going to be targeting our Cursed Dagger along with our Hammer as well. So we'd have an increased chance to stun, as well as inflict those debuffs. We aren't inflicting any debuffs here because our opponent does freaking resist it with that leather armor. But we're starting to deal some big damage. They have taken our power away. But it's still looking pretty good for us. That's a lot of debuffs stacked up, scaling up our crit chance, stopping our opponent from hitting us, and we got tons and tons and tons of block. So you know what? It's definitely not looking too bad. Awesome even. Now Little Chestnut is kind of crazy as well, but we're not going to be taking Little Chestnut today. We're going to be grabbing our Bloody Amulet. Let's grab our Poison Flask. Let's roll. And we have to grab this Heart Container, because I'm going to go for Stone Golem. The thing is, we're lacking a crazy amount on storage here, unfortunately. I am, however, going to grab this fanny pack so we can actually place this in and craft up Vampiric Armor. We're going to have to take you out so we can craft up a Pestilence Flask as well. And unfortunately for now, this is probably going to be our worst setup unless we change it around and do something like this. I think that's going to have to be this way for now, unfortunately. But yeah, once we get our Stone Golem online, we should be in a pretty good spot. The only thing is we're going to need to start scaling up some regen. Unfortunately, we're lacking a good bit on freaking regen. So we want to find healing herbs, we want to find emeralds. But this bonus deals a big damage with their Poison Ivy. Holy moly, they do resist a lot of our debuffs as well, which is super unfortunate, and we do want to fall short. It's a little less than ideal. Now, we can grab False Life, or we can grab Thornburst here. Thornburst is going to be another source of stun. I'm thinking strong about taking Thornburst. Over time melting, we can actually increase how long we stun our hammer for. Thornburst for an extra stun, I'm going to be grabbing. I really want to grab this undead phenomenon, but we really genuinely need storage here. Doesn't mean you can't grab a hard container just yet. So let's take this. Hammer the wheels. Actually not terribly bad here, but we probably want this piggy bank. I'm going to be a little bit greedy. Instead of having our box riches, instead of having our bag stones in here, I'm actually going to want to grab this bunch of coins to smash it open. And yeah, I'm going to move on. Getting some extra value is definitely going to be worthwhile. However, we do have to deal with a Frozen Flame, Thornbloom type build with False Life. We're going to be trying to stack up as much max life as possible. Wait, we're starting to stack up some debuffs, which is awesome. They do slow us down a bit, but with Thornburst in, we could be in a pretty good spot, especially with our Hammer Wilds as well. I know what? It's definitely not looking too bad. We got free monies. We're going to sell. Let's grab a hard container. I'm going to roll. And that is the Corrupted Crystal on sale for more armor, which I am going to take, but again, we need more storage because I'm going to be crafting up this stone golem. But again, we're going to have to move on. So once you grab the Corrupted Crystal, we're going to be placing our armor so we can start stacking up a little bit more block for ourselves, which should be pretty decent here. Instead of crafting up Corrupted Hearts, yeah, once you start inflicting a ton of debuffs, we start stacking up our armor even more, giving us even more striability, and it's looking pretty good so far. We got our stone golem. Let's grab you. Let's grab this too. Let's roll again. I'm also thinking about taking this prismatic orb if we do want that. I don't think it's going to be that great though. I do, however, want to grab this and more storage as well. But we do need to rearrange our inventory once again, so I'll be back in a second while I do that. So right now, I'm actually thinking about rocking it this way. Instead of getting scaling damage from steel gubbards, we're going to be using our armored steel. We're going to be using our daggers on it to trigger a little bit faster, so we can get all the crit chance on all our weapons. I think that's going to be much better for us with our enchanted weapons targeting our main weapons as well. Yeah, I'm just going to move on with this for now, and we're going to see if this is going to be good enough. That happens scaling damage from the steel gubbard is losing a little bit of value on it, but getting crit chance on all our daggers is going to be super high value. But our opponent is going to be reflecting some debuffs, but that's a lot of debuffs stacked up. Our freaking vampiric armor should be able to scale up our power as well, along with a Corrupted Crystal, getting a ton of block from all the debuffs we're going to be inflicting as well. And yeah, it's looking pretty darn awesome. So we do end up with about 43 DPS, even though our opponent did have 2 shields here, which is not too bad for this point of the game. As for block, we do end up with 30 block per second, while 360 block in total. And as for heals, we do end up with not so much. So maybe we should take our points to run, but I'm going to see if we can actually make this a lot crazier. Because if we get another Amethyst Steel, it's going to be nuts. Amethyst Alchemy is actually pretty good if you do grab ourselves some stone skill potions. I do, however, want to grab you, and I want to craft up another bunch of coins. I do want to roll again, and I actually really want to grab this. Do we grab a second vampiric armor instead of a vampiric dagger? I think I might actually. But I'm going to move on. The thing is, we definitely need that regen to get our stone golem online from the get-go. That's going to be super important. That's for sure. Wait, can we take on this anvil with a double axe and a magic torch? Because they're going to be dealing some big damage. They're going to be taking a lot less damage thanks to Norwich. Please give them time to scale up that double axe. But hey, that's some massive hammer dagger action. Hey, we've got a bunch of coins we're going to sell. Let's grab this. Let's grab you and let's grab our armor and roll again. Now, we do really want to grab this fanny pack. I do want to continue on as well. Now, the thing is, we could grab ourselves a hard container, but it is going to be really slow. Every 3 seconds, gain 1 regen. If we're trying to stack up 5 regen here, since we do start off with 2, it means we're going to have to wait 15 seconds. It's just way too long. So I'm not going to be able to take it. It might be nice if we only need 1 regen. But I'm going to have to move on with this for now. We're definitely going to be crafting up a second vampiric armor, so we can stack up even more block. And we're going to be taking on this ranger who has an insane amount of block as well. And they're going to be inflicting a turbo amount of poison. And unfortunately, resisting a lot of poison. Poison Ivy is a big counter to us, unfortunately. And we could take Tim here. And the reason I take Tim is basically to resist those debuffs or crits. That is the main reason to take Tim here, in my opinion. But we could also take ourselves a stone skill potion for a little bit more armor. So you know what? I'm going to take it. We're going to roll. And I have to grab this to craft up a bloody dagger. Quite literally. I'm going to keep rolling though. I don't exactly want any of these items. And we have to grab this regen with this box of riches. It's super important because we definitely need to get our stone golem online. We should be able to get a ton of block. Our opponent is rocking a dancing dragon and they're going to be attacking through armor, so they're going to have a chance to at least. Well, they're going to have a ton of armor as well. And a lot of max life. Wait, we're dealing some big damage. They do resist a lot of debuffs as well, and unfortunately, facing opponents that does resist their debuffs is pretty rough. I'm going to grab another corrupted crystal. Let's grab healing herbs. Let's grab this too. And let's roll to try and find ourselves some regen here. Which we didn't find. That was a quick roll down. We're going to be moving on once again. So at least with an ability dagger, we should be able to scale up a little bit more vampirism. So our daggers gives a ton of heals along with all our block. Our opponent is going to be trying to remove a lot of our buffs. So we could be in trouble once they do start removing our power and our vampirism. But I think we just have enough time to face him down here. So definitely not too bad. Now I'm going to take this sapphire since it is on sale. Let's take the stone. I'm going to roll again. Another bag of stones increase the damage. Yeah, we have to take that. It just increased the damage on our stone golem. We're going to keep moving. I'm going to take you two as we just roll again. And there's going to be an emerald. And I also want to grab this too. I'm going to sell the sapphire as much as I'd love to keep it. I think I'm going to have to get rid of it, unfortunately. And I'm going to place this down below. Move this down here. Place this in. This emerald is going to be just a little bit more regen for ourselves. I'm also going to reduce our opponent's healing while also increasing our own healing. And I'm thinking about selling our Star of Courage here to try and grab this, looking for another Amethyst Steel. Amethyst Life's not too bad here, to be honest. But how are we going to fit this in? I'm not sure if we actually can right now. Needs to find around to craft, so we won't be able to craft up our stone into a stone skill potion, but yeah, it's going to have to move on with this for now. We're just one regen off to get our stone golem online. Actually, hold on a second. With the of alchemy, we should just barely get it in time and stone golem's online. And our build has literally become straight up nuts. Giving us 150 block, increasing our power, increasing our power chances as well. But opponents, actually, and unfortunately, even though our build is nuts, our opponent did manage to outpace us by removing all our debuffs. So unfortunately, we do still fall short. But hey, we got our freaking regen. Let's grab our bag of stones. I do got to grab this bit of storage as well. And I do got to keep moving for now as well. Another corrupted crystal is going to be awesome. I have to grab it. We're going to sell this to roll again. I'm going to sell our garlic to roll again. And I was hoping that we could find potentially one more emerald here. We should just have enough here. So I'm going to sell this. And do we take this as a final item here? An eye lamp. I'm not going to. One more roll. And that's that. And this is going to be our final builds. Now, maybe shield took points around. We did sacrifice a few lives here to get this fully online. Trying to get our stone golem procced almost instantly. We're not going to get it instantly, but after 4 seconds, we're going to have our stone golem online. Now, let's go and see if this is going to be good enough. Are we going to fall short? Can we actually win out? I'm going to slow this one down. We are going to begin a Falcon Blade, Cheese Goobert with a Steel Goobert, double rainbow. With Shaman Master, they're going to be trying to buff stack like crazy while stacking up their max life with false life as well. And they're going to have a shield to block some of our damage. And they're also going to be stunning with the Falcon Blade, with the Elfin Runes, with their daggers. But we'll see. We've got our Stone Golem online right now. We should be able to deal some big damage. Our Stone Golem does have a chance to stun as well. And making our daggers do a lot more work for us as well. We're starting to deal some big damage right now as well. Even though they do have that battle rage. But can we actually keep up? Especially with the Hawk Rune in their armor. They do resist a lot of blind. But they actually have a ton of heals. Tons of max life. Once their battle rage does end, they lose a lot of their life steal. And this is where we start to deal some massive damage. And you know what? Awesome. And definitely awesome. Now, as for DPS, we did manage to end up with 107 DPS within 16 seconds, while our opponent only had 60 DPS. As for heals, we actually ended up with 24 healing per second, while our opponent did have 53 healing per second with another 27 max health gains. And as for block, we did end up with 60 block per second. Being our Vampiric Armor is going crazy, Stone Golem, Steel Gooberts, and then Corrupted Crystals actually adding in quite a bit of block as well. So overall, definitely super fun builds. Now we do strive for 2 lives left. Let's go and see just how much rank points we managed to get. Plus 20 actually. Ranking us back up to masters and more. But anyways, I'm going to leave you here for now. Just want to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And I hope you keep looking for the next one. I'll see you next time. Okay, we're back, and we're going to see can we deal with another Enchanted Weapons hammer dagger type build. Now, our opponent had way more daggers than we did. We only had 3 daggers, Cursed Dagger being one of them. But you also have that shield and a vulnerability. But that's some big, big damage. We do have an insane amount of power as well. And you know what? Not too bad. But hey, can we take on a big bowl of treats? Freaking Bloodthorn here. With some crit chance and a lot of spike generation and some max life gains as well. That's 110 crit. Holy moly. That was kind of nuts. But hey, can we deal with a katana type builds with steel gubbarts and a bunch of pets? And they're going to be attacking through armor. So actually, we could actually lose out pretty quickly here. Because we take a lot of our own life with our vampiric armor. But we also get a ton of heals as well with our vampiricness. So not too bad. Now can we deal with a crazy looking Nocturnal Locklifter with a King Gubbard? They're going to get an insane amount of heals. Falcon Blade, Bloodthorn as well is pretty good. The problem with their setup is their Falcon Blade is not getting their lifesteal. But they're going to have tons and tons of heals. Overall. But they can heal if we smash them down super fast.